Okay, I think I'm live. There also seems to be a delay with my Logitech camera over here. Not sure exactly what's going on there. Hopefully it's not too distracting. Let's see, post that. Post that. Oh, am I even signed into Discord? I am not. Why am I not signed in? Come on. Oh, there we go. I love Discord's QR code feature, so you can just log in real quick. Okay. And come on. Let's see. Oh, hey, we got random user. Did I get a haircut? I did recently, but not since my last stream. Sorry, trying to post in the Discord real quick. There we go. I didn't have the link on my clipboard. I thought I did, but I had something else. But yeah, I did get a haircut couple weeks back. I'm trying to remember exactly when it was. It was right after we hired our new guy at work, and we've had him for at least like 3 weeks ago. I don't know, something like that. But yeah, I did get a haircut. I don't think I had it combed. I don't think I had it like spiked up like this for my last stream. I think I was lazy that day and it was just combed over to the side or something. That might be what you're noticing. That's my guess. But yeah, so I have some cool stuff. I mean, one, I'm gonna be painting some rebels tonight. I've kind of redid my, oh, come on, chair. This chair like perfectly, like the base of the chair perfectly fits between the two like IKEA, are they the Alex drawers? But like, yeah, it perfectly fits. There's like not even half an inch of like gap between like the edge of the chairs. I want to see Paint and Crying paint the Halo minis. Oh boy. This would be some Pain and Crying. This is just one. This is basically a Mark V B armor. Could be Noble 6 from Halo Reach. But oh my goodness, they're just so itty bitty, so ridiculously small. I would need to use some brush on primer because I haven't. He's not even glued in. He's just sitting in his base here. But yeah, I would need to use some. I want to see the Under Armour lines done in perfect black. Oh boy. Oh boy. But yeah, he would need some brush on primer first. Do I have my super glue over here? Oh, it's on the other table. Hold on. Let me get my super glue because I cannot paint him without gluing him in. don't really want to paint him tonight, but because I need to get more of my rebels done. So, because I'm in an, I think I mentioned it recently, but I'm in an Escalation League for, at my local gaming store, and they do a, let me zoom out here real quick. So, let's see, let's move some stuff out of the way. So if I put down like all of my rebels, so I've got Luke here, here's a squad of rebels here, this is another squad right here, the dude on the ATRT, and then carefully grab these guys over here without knocking everything down, and then let's see, a sniper and a normal dude. So these count as one squad, and then these count as a strike team. And I remember you talking about that, but losing horribly. I did lose horribly. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I got decimated. But all of this, like everything I have rebels so far, is like 500 points, like almost exactly with the right upgrade cards and everything. Because you can kind of adjust your points a little bit based on what upgrades you take. Like for Luke, for example, if you take different force powers, he's worth a different amount of points. He has like a base points, but then like if you give him like force push or something, it gives him like, I think it's 10 points cost, but then if you give him another ability, it's another cost. You can give him two abilities. And then kind of same with the troopers, like, yes, cheating, exactly, yes, cheating. But yeah, if you give the troopers, like this guy, he has different guns he can take attached here, and depending on which one you take, it costs a different amount of points. But anyways, what I have is roughly 500 points. Well, an Escalation League starts at 500 points. So last week I played a 500 point game. This week I'll play a 500 point game. Next week, and the week after, I'll play a 650 point game. I gotta turn down the volume just ever so slightly. I think I was watching a movie. And then the final 2 weeks I'll play an 800 point game, which is the normal max size for Legion. So anyways, I'm trying to get some of my stuff painted because you actually earn additional hobby points for painting, which I think is really cool. So like not just by playing, but if you paint and get stuff finished, you also earn additional hobby points. And I think that's pretty cool, because based on how poorly I played, that might be the only way I'm actually going to earn any points. However, I have a really cool thing to show you, because I've been 3D printing a lot. I bought my buddy's old, I say old, it's only like a year and a half old at most, but he had an Ender 3. Just bust out the Mon Cal Star Cruiser. That's like 500 points or so, probably. And they probably wouldn't be able to deal with that, honestly, in a 500 point game. But yeah, so he sold me his upgraded Ender 3 V2. He had done quite a bit of upgrades to it to get it to be not really a standard printer anymore. But let me zoom out a little bit further. I have been printing, I bought this file on Etsy. I have been printing this really cool, oh my goodness, that's so blown out. You can kind of see the Rebel logo there. But this thing's pretty big. I mean, this is like slightly bigger than like a lunch pail maybe. See if the BL Touch. He did not have the BL Touch, but he had added like cable chains. He upgraded the extruder to the all metal extruder. He got like upgraded. Shiny Wifey's trying to scare me. He got upgraded fans and exhaust and stuff. But yeah, it's a neat little cool army box. It's got a handle up here. Everything's 3D printed. It's got logos here on the sides. The back piece, the piece that goes over the back, is actually printing right now. It's on the printer. But it was just a neat little thing. I need to clean it up a little bit because the guy that designed this did not leave very much room for tolerances. So it this piece slides very roughly. Hi. Hello. And and Shinny Wifey's here right next to me. And then this is a pretty simple tray. He actually had like little cutouts for every single unit on here, which is neat, but I actually edited this piece in my software. I'm hoping it'll just fit without any... Oh, nice, it does. I was worried I was going to need to go through and like edit this, but basically I'm going to add a metal sheet to this piece right here. I'm going to cut it out, glue it here, right here, and then I'll have magnets on the bottom of my miniatures, so this will be a nice magnetic tray. But I'll need to print at least, I don't know, a couple more of these. But you can slot them in at different heights, so if you have different height minis, you know, you can have a couple of guys down here on the bottom, and then you could put another shelf in. It's kind of hard to show you guys at this angle, but there's quite a bit of room in there, even with Luke's lightsaber sticking up. So I'm pretty excited about that. This has been an exciting print, and this thing prints way better than my old printer. Like my old printer, I mean, it was very, very old. It was really getting to the point where it was like starting to shake itself apart. And I was really like losing quality on prints because it just could not stay smooth. And yeah, this thing's a nice little army box. I think I'm gonna paint it up and stuff, make it look nice. Maybe I'll paint the Rebel logo like that nice deep red and stuff. But yeah, we'll set that aside. You need me for anything, or you just come to hang out? You're lurking. She's literally lurking. She's just right over here, out of scene. Literally lurking. But yeah, so I'm excited about that because that's I don't know, it's a cool little carrying case. And then I also printed, let's zoom back in for this guy a little bit anyways. Shinny Wifey Lurk. He's still on his supports. I literally just pulled him off the printer a little bit ago, but it is Mando. I've pre-ordered the actual model, but I don't think he's coming until like July. Wow, that wouldn't be very long to wait if it was July. I don't think the actual model is coming until like October. So I went ahead and printed one. I'm gonna zoom back out just a hair. Yeah, I went ahead and printed one. Are you leaving? Okay, that's fine. You're welcome to come back. But yeah, so I went ahead and printed this model in case I wanted to try to run him in my games. I don't even know what his rules are going to be or anything. Let's see if I can get him out of the supports here real quick without breaking anything. Well, breaking anything other than the supports. I'm fine breaking supports. That's normal. I'm also not sure how well this this maker handles their support. Some people do a really good job. Like this was like a pre-supported miniature. Some creators, you know, I just realized that this camera right here is just kind of like anything I'm holding up, you know, I'm like, oh look guys, look at the stuff I'm doing. Look, like I don't know, it's like right in the way. I don't really have a good place to put that camera yet. I don't know what I'm gonna do. That camera is not as important as the other one, I don't think. So I got the supports mostly removed. And there we have Mando. Got his pistol out. I gotta do a little bit of cleanup, obviously. And most of the supports on the back came out okay. There's a little bit of, I don't know how well you can see it, but there's a little bit of pitting right here along his cape. But that honestly, out of everywhere for that to be, that's actually a pretty nice location, because clean up on like a nice smooth surface like that is way easier than like trying to clean up a like a real detailed piece, like if it was up here in like the folds and stuff. But since it's on this like real smooth portion, I think that'll be a lot easier to fix. But yeah, I am buying the official model too. I just thought it would be cool to play with this version. I'll have to get out my knife and clean it up. But that's not what we're here tonight. That's not what we're here for tonight. I just thought it was cool that I printed him, so. Among other things. Also printed a bunch of little random goblin guys. And accessories. But yeah. So I've already worked on a few rebels. The one squad that's over here, they're pretty much done already. I did these guys on stream months ago. It was a while ago. I think it might have even been like last fall, like October, November or something. But so I've already started on the others. So this is the sergeant of the squad. He's pretty much done. He just needs his base material, basing. Then, and I'm trying to get at least, I want to get this squad done before I really start moving on to another squad. Let me move my water out of the way. Oh, and Taltos, I do actually plan on painting that itty bitty Spartan soon. This one is mostly done. She has like a little tuft of hair sticking out right there that I didn't do. So I probably need to pick a color and paint that real quick. But other than that, she's pretty much done. This guy obviously has a bit of work to do. I've only done some of like his very generic colors. So he's one I'll be working on tonight. Same with this guy. He's got just a little bit of color done, but not very much. So I'll have to go through and add more for him. So I got those two. Let's see. This guy's mostly done, I think. Oh, he actually I forgot to paint his belt buckle. I think I didn't have the color on my palette yet, so I was waiting until I needed more stuff in that color before I did it. Oh, and I didn't finish his eyes yet either. Oh wait, oh no, I did. I don't know if you'll be able to really see this. I don't know how well that's gonna come across on the stream, but I promise you he has Shinny Wifey lurk. I did do the whites of his eyes, and I did add pupils. I'm not sure how well you can see that on the camera, but I promise you I did it. And oh boy, it is sometimes that is difficult to do on these itty bitty guys. Lurking intensifies. So that guy's pretty much done. This one is also mostly done. I did realize that I did the whites of the eyes, but I haven't actually added pupils yet to this character. So they need some pupils real quick. And then this Duros guy is mostly done. I think I need to add like a wash to his head. It's super bright, especially compared to the other one. I mean, I used a different shade of blue too, but the other one's like super desaturated, and this one looks extra saturated, especially on camera. Like, it looks crazy saturated on camera. I don't think it looks quite that blue in person. Shinny Wifey would be able to chime in on that. He looks bluer on the screen than he does in person to me. Like, he's pretty blue, but he looks like extra saturated, extra blue on screen to me. Looks like Yondu from here is what she said. Close enough. Basically what he is. But yeah, I think he needs like a wash over his skin to tone him back down a little bit. But those two, oh, I guess her hair needs to be done. So yeah, I got a few to work on. And then even if I do finish this squad, I have more to finish. I mean, I could start working on this ATRT guy. I could start finishing the strike team. Like, the sniper's done, but I could work on this one for the strike team, or I could work on these these 5 guys over here for that team. And then I also picked up the Rebel Veteran units, which honestly, it probably won't matter a whole lot to you guys. They don't look a ton different than the normal Rebels, except they're wearing like the outfits from Hoth. And it's kind of frustrating to me that the only veterans are the Hoth soldiers. And because they get this really cool guy with a mounted machine gun. He can, if you bring the rest of the veterans, you can run him as a separate unit by himself, and he's like linked with the other veterans, so if you give them orders, he gets orders too. It's a nice little combo thing. But like, everyone's wearing their Hoth outfits, so they all look like they're really bundled up really well in their snowsuits. And I don't really want to run them as Hoth unit. Like, everyone else is painted for like forest stuff, but you can't get veterans that are not wearing the Hoth outfits. I don't know. It just it's kind of crummy that you have to do it that way. Let's see. If I get this one's pupils, they'll be done. So we're gonna do that first. Let's zoom this back in a tad. And let's see if I can do some pupils here without messing stuff up. So, this is how I usually do it. I'm actually using Gundam markers for the eyes. I initially paint around the eye area in black, and then I go in and very carefully add the white of the pupils. Wow, the pupils. The white of the cornea, I think. Yeah, maybe? That sounds right. But then I basically add a black dot with this Gundam marker to be the pupil and the iris all in one. They're so small. For me, it's too hard to add like a colored iris. Apparently I can't do it in the up and down angle. Let's see, focus back on there. I got one. That other one's gonna be kind of hard. It's kind of at an awkward angle, especially with that gun right there. I think I'm bumping off of like her nose. Oh, it's bumping off the gun. side angle over here, maybe. No. Oh, that's gonna be tough. I can't quite get this where I want it. It's not perfect, but I did at least get a pupil / iris in there. I don't know if I can get that camera to focus anymore on that. It's not perfect, but it at least looks like she's looking straight ahead, so it's better than looking cross-eyed or something. So now let's get her some hair. She has just a little tiny dab of hair. What color should her hair be? She literally just has like some bangs sticking out right there in the corner of her helmet. That's all you can see. What color should we make that? Do you have any suggestions back there, Shinny Wifey? She said that I don't like her suggestions. If I didn't like your suggestions, I wouldn't be asking you for suggestions. I mean, it's a little tiny spot of hair. I don't want to give her like brown hair. Like, it's literally just that little tuft sticking out, that bang. Right there. And I obviously don't want to make her a brunette or something because it'll just blend in too much with her outfit. I kind of want like
ginger or a blonde.
A ginger or a blonde. Could do that. Could do that. Let's see here. Okay. This is gonna seem like a lot of extra work just for that little tiny tuft of hair. Because I'm gonna use 3 colors to paint that little tiny tuft of hair. We're gonna start with some dragon red. I just need the tiniest of drops. Tiny, tiny, tiny drop. Then I'm gonna get my #1 paintbrush. Get some water on here. And I apologize that you guys can't see my wet palette. I was trying to actually find a good camera angle, and I was really struggling because of how I've moved my desk and everything. Nothing is quite where it was before, so it's kind of hard to show some of the stuff that I'm doing. So we're going to start by making this part of her hair and that little bit that you can see right there. We're going to make it this very, very deep red. And, ooh, actually, I think there was something I wanted to paint red on somebody else, so let's set her aside for just a second. I think it's on the Duros here. I think, yeah, he has these little, on his chest, he has these little markers. I think they're like a rank thing or something. I don't know. And I think one of them's supposed to be blue and one of them's supposed to be red, but I was just gonna make them both red. Actually, could be wrong about the colors entirely. Made a mistake and bought Factorio and then started playing. Oh no. Let's make my engineer brain go newt newt. I know quite a few people who really, really love Factorio. I've kind of got burnt out on a lot of those type of like creation games, like building, and I don't know, Factorio doesn't even have like survival type mechanics, does it? But like, I don't know, I've been burnt out on like survival and building stuff for a little while. Been struggling to get back into them. Can I add like a red dot? That really doesn't add anything. It does? Oh, it does have? See, I was thinking it was kind of like a... I don't know, I guess I've never actually looked at Factorio. In my head I was picturing like Satisfactory. Not Factorio. That's really not doing anything to that. So I'm just not going to worry about that part. You attack like big old bugs? Interesting. Like your factory does, or like you? Like, are you playing as like a first-person character, or are you playing as like the overlord type thing? Oh, it's very similar. Okay. See, I've never played it. I've only played Satisfactory. And I feel like whenever I played Satisfactory, it was still kind of in like early beta type stuff, maybe. I need to put my phone somewhere else so it's not in the way. I'm just gonna put it in my pocket. Putting my phone in my pocket. Oh, also, the reason I kind of changed my setup how I did here. Let me zoom back out here. So here's my airbrush right over here, and here's my spray booth. So I haven't tested it yet, but I'm pretty sure if Satisfactory is much more resource management focused. Factorio is fending off bugs and building your factory. Oh, interesting. Okay. Neato. But yeah, so I have my spray booth and everything here. And I was testing if I use an NDI stream from this computer, stream it to my desktop. I did not buy a K2SO already. Are you wanting me to? No, I'm planning on it. Get Cassian and K2SO at the same time. But I think if I do an NDI stream from my laptop over to my desktop, and then if I run the audio through an RTX voice, or I guess NVIDIA broadcast filter now, I am pretty sure I can use NVIDIA broadcast to filter out the sounds of the airbrush. I haven't tested it. I know that it can filter out an airbrush because I watch another Twitch streamer who airbrushes live, and you cannot hear his airbrush. You can't hear anything from his stuff, and that is just one of the coolest things to me. Like, the way that software works is just amazing. But I think if I send it to my desktop and actually do the stream from my desktop instead, basically a dual PC setup, I think I can use my 3070 to filter the audio. I'm just not 100% sure on it. Like, I know it can filter it, I just don't know if I can. I don't know how well it'll work being sent over like that. I'm not sure. But if it does work, I think that'd be really cool, because then I could potentially use my airbrush live as well, which I think would be neat. Neato. So, how's everybody doing tonight? I know we got Shinny Wifey, obviously, is here because she's literally sitting kind of behind me here. We got Tall Toes. Random user was in the chat earlier. He might be lurking a bit. I know he's been playing a lot of like VR chat and stuff recently. I think he's like really gotten into VR. I've seen a lot of VR games popping up on his played list. There we go. I think we'll kind of go like that with a very bright red into orange for her hair. You'll be lurking soon. Nice, nice. Ooh, you got a quest too? Very nice. One of my buddies got one. He loves it. I think out of all the current ones, I think the quest 2 is just overall like maybe not in every category, but I think in the big picture, the quest 2 is probably one of the best ones. Sure, you can get better visual quality on some of the others, like maybe the Index or the Pi Max or whatever. But the fact that the Quest 2 is just 100% wireless is amazing. And then you can use there's a couple of different ways you can use wireless to stream from your... Right, the wireless is so nice. That's what I've heard from like everybody, that the wireless just is amazing. You went from a Vive to a Quest 2. Nice. Well, and not having to deal with lighthouses or any kind of external tracking. The Quest 2 does have a very good picture. Like there's a few headsets that do have better quality in just the visual range, but the Quest 2 is good. Like it is not a bad headset by any means. But the wireless is from my understanding, is just amazing. Single USB-C, I can access my entire Steam library. Nice! See, someone was telling me there's a way to use like basically like virtual desktop in the Quest 2 App Store and basically play their Steam library wireless. But I don't have a Quest 2, so I don't know how to do it. But that's how one of my friends says he has his set up, and he can play everything wireless. But again, I don't have one. I haven't done it. That's just what it's built in. Oh, nice. Well, because you were saying with a USB-C, because he can do it all wireless. So I wasn't sure. You can use AirLink or link cable. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, that feature alone just sounds amazing. Link cable is just a bit easier. I gotcha. Well, and I imagine with wireless, there's always that potential for at least a little bit of like input lag and stuff. Let's see, which brown did I use? Probably that one. Probably this brown. Need the black here. Let's see, what other... Do some army green or something for his pants. Or I got some green skin, which I think is for like orcs. Oh, or I could use the Star Wars one that's just titled Rebel Camouflage. Thinking for his... I need to get the skeleton bone back out. Pretty sure, because I did his, like, his shirt on the inside with, I'm pretty sure that's skeleton bone. but I forgot that his sleeves are actually attached to that shirt too, so I didn't do them. So I need to go back and do them. I need to paint the gun, need to paint his gloves. And then I think I want to do his pants green, but I want to do a different green than his shirt. Because I kind of like the Rebels looking like they have just like a bunch of like thrown together stuff. Like they just grabbed anything brown, green, tan, etc. At least for their normal troopers. For the veterans, I kind of want to go in and like give them all like almost like uniforms, like matching outfits and stuff. I think that would look good on the veterans. This is a weird song. I'm gonna go ahead and skip this one. There. That other one was just bothering me. It's making my ears angry. But yeah, overall, I've heard pretty good things about the quest too. It was like pea green. It'll look better with a wash. I'm actually gonna switch brushes real quick to my larger one. The size 1, it's an alright brush, but I feel like it doesn't do so good on a larger surface like his pants here, where I need to cover a bit more space. Not that the size 2 is that much bigger, but I need to get used to being in frame. I need to make sure I keep my miniature in the right spot. I almost need to like put something down, like, okay, this is where I need to put my elbow. Because that's part of what I'm doing wrong, is I keep moving my elbow and it scoots my whole arm over. But like, I feel like this should be the center, because like my monitor's kind of at an angle. So what I really need to be doing is looking like straight at this camera in front of me. And that'll help me get things centered. Not used to having Shinny Wifey down here as a guest. I said I'm not used to having you down here as a guest. I keep seeing out of the corner of my eye, or like a reflection or something, I keep seeing like movement, or like, I don't know, your foot moves or your arm moves or something, and I'm like, someone's here with me, and then I'm like, oh yeah, she's here. Ever since that one time you snuck up and scared me, I've just been scared ever since. Yeah, with the doll, that creepy doll. It was creepy when I was doing a Phasmophobia ghost stream, and you come in with a Batgirl doll and drape the hair in front of me in the dark. What? What? With a candlestick. I can't hardly hear you through the headphones. Oh, and in other news, Mini Shinny is doing pretty good. So far, her COVID case seems to have been fairly mild. She had a bit of a fever, kind of off and on through the weekend and today. Friday, when she first came down with it, she had probably the highest fever, maybe into Saturday too. But it never got like, I mean, she wasn't running like 105 or anything. It was like 100 to 101-ish range. Nothing super crazy. She's been coughing and stuff, but not. She had a couple of days of kind of slightly worrisome coughing, and then it's kind of gone back down to more normal sounding coughing. So I think she's kind of through the woods with it. But Shinny Wifey's been, I mean, I stayed home today too, but Shinny Wifey has been staying home. I worked from home today, but she's been staying home and taking care of her, and will be a couple more days, I think, because the daycare is closed at the moment. Alright, he's got some green pants. Those are super green. Let's see, does this guy get green pants too? Or does he get a green vest? I think I'm gonna give him a light green vest. Mini Shinny has been so ungrateful. She has been too. She's been very rude. Probably a good way to put it. It's kind of been more than just like normal levels of rude too. It's been like angry rude. You know, as a toddler does. Sorry, I'm not trying to completely get the camera out of focus, but I'm doing a really good job of getting it out of focus without trying. kind of think this issue I'm having with the camera angle and it focusing on, because it's like focusing on the brush and like this hand over here instead of on the miniature more. I mean, one, I could just set the focus. I could be doing that manually instead of using Canon's autofocus. But Canon's autofocus, one, is pretty dang good. But two, anytime I zoom in and out, I'd have to be adjusting the focus as well. And I'm no photographer or videographer. Like I'm not good at that kind of stuff. But I think this is one of the reasons why I actually had the camera, because right now the camera is actually on my right, kind of angled down to the left a little bit. Previously, in the old setup, I had it coming in from the left, angled to the right, which, since I'm right-handed, that let it be more like, I don't know, kind of like this angle, sort of, when I was painting. And so you kind of saw me painting from the side instead of more straight on like this. But I think that helps with the camera focus. So I may have to look into getting the camera moved back over on the left-hand side. Not really a problem, I just need to figure out where. Right now the camera is just mounted on a mic stand. So I just need to figure out how to move that or get a different kind of mount for it, maybe, where I have a little bit more control. I tried mounting it on, I'm using Elgato multi-mounts, and I had bought a very cheap, like off-brand of the, what's it called, the Master Mount? I don't know, it's one of the multi-mount attachments. You basically get like an arm that sticks out, and you can, I think it's like there's like a flex arm version, and then I also think there's a solid arm version, but you can basically, I don't know, mount a camera or something further out than, like, I don't know, you can stick it out a couple feet from the arm, and that might work. I just don't know. I have two multi-mounts. I have one on the left and one on the right, and neither one of them is very close. Like, I don't know, that's almost 3 feet to the right, and then not quite to the left, 3 feet as well, but I don't know. One of those might work. And it would attach right to the already existing mount instead of needing an additional mount. I mean, it'd be kind of nice. I'm just not sure. I don't know how you would normally mount a camera like this, like kind of above. One of the streamers I watch, Miniac, and he's also a YouTuber. I mean, he does a lot of cool stuff. But he actually uses like one of those microphone boom arms, and he has it like kind of a heavy duty one. Like I think he had like a Rode PSA 1, I think is what it was called, at one point that he was using. And yeah, he had that basically mounted, and then he can move the camera around pretty easily because it's on a boom arm instead of just on like the arm I have this on is like, I mean, it's on a mic stand, but it's very like a big floor mic stand, like what you'd see on stage or something, but it's not very mobile. This doesn't look like the right color. Did I use Maybe I used Dune Sea instead of Skeleton Bone. It's got a little bit more yellow to it. I think maybe that's what I did. Let's see. I'll put a little bit of Skeleton Bone here on his arm. This doesn't look right at all. Oh, maybe that is the same color. I didn't think it was, but now that I'm painting some more on here, that is looking much more correct. Maybe that is right. Hopping off. Alright, Taltos, have a good night, man. Thanks for stopping by. Always appreciated. Thanks, man. Have a good night. Maybe it was the Skeleton Bone, I thought. I don't know, it didn't look like it was the right shade, but then I started putting it on and I think it's the right shade. Maybe that's right. Okay. Get his sleeves, and then we'll move on to the brown. I actually think it's not the right shade, but it's like very close. I mean, the two colors aren't super different, and then, I mean, once I put a wash on it, it'll probably be fine. Probably won't even be able to tell. But I actually am starting to think it's the other color. This is an unexpected side effect. I'm not used to having my elbow up this high. I need something, like a pad for my left elbow. I have a mouse pad under my right elbow, but I'm not putting as much weight on the right one because I'm lifting my right arm more to actually paint with. his other sleeve here. Sorry. Keep realizing I'm not actually on screen. That's the whole reason I got this monitor in front of me. But sometimes I just forget to look at the monitor. Okay, so he needs some brown for his gloves. He needs black for his... Oh, and he needs brown for his helmet too. Black for his backpack and his gun. Needs his eyes finished and a wash. This guy... They want to do brown for his... Yeah, I think I'll do brown for his pants. He needs black for his guns and his backpack, and then also brown for his helmet here. Okay. Let's get some leather brown. The other squad, I did a green band around the top of their helmets, which is actually what they had in the movies on indoor, which surprised me because we looked it up and because for whatever reason we thought it was brown, and turns out it was actually green. It was like a very dull green, but it was. But I like the brown, and I want to use it as a way to help distinguish between my two squads. Obviously, there's certain characters like the Duros that do not have. He does not wear a helmet. So I just have to know that one Duros goes with one squad and one Duros goes with the other, and not mix them up. Get his glove here. get the other glove. It's okay if I get a little bit of brown on his gun here. Can I grab your charger? Okay. I was thinking I still had a charger down here for your phone. Oh, I do. I have a charger. I think she's already gone. Oh, actually, she's probably grabbing a charger for her laptop. Alright, he's got all the brown that he needs. Now this guy, gonna get the top of his helmet. I think I kind of want to give his pants a different shade of brown though. I'm using leather brown here. I have much darker oak brown that I also really like the looks of. I had too much water on my brush for that. No, sorry. Hair was in the way. My bad. I was leaning in to make sure I was getting where I wanted it. Completely blocked off the camera with my big hair. It's on the wall. Huh? There should be on the one on under your computer. Did you get it? Okay. He has a leather belt down here too. too much paint? There we go. That's better. So, because I kind of want his leather belt and then his potentially brown pants that I'm about to paint. I want them to be like different shades of brown. There we go. Now let's get the other brown out. Brought Mom a birthday present. Oh, okay. Did you get her something good? From abnormal. Okay, then yes, it is something good. But yeah, I'm gonna do oak brown for his pants, which I'm pretty sure is what I used for this guy's jacket and his backpack. It just gives that really nice deep brown, and that's what I want for this other guy's pants. And I don't need a ton, because it's just him left for pants. Hey, little buddy, how's it going? Thank you, Shiny Wifey. And you can see my wet palette here is a bit of a mess. How you doing, little buddy? It's been a bit. I've missed my my Monday night streams for a little bit. We're doing pretty good, little buddy. Mini Shinny actually just came down with a pretty mild overall case of COVID, which we're very thankful for. That it's been mild, not that she got it, but the fact that it's been mild has been nice. But yeah, other than that, we're all doing pretty good. And luckily, neither Shiny Wifey or I caught it. We have both been testing negative so far. She's been doing better. She had fever. I think she still has like a very, very slight fever off and on. But she was coughing a bit, but she's mostly back to normal now. At least she's been acting normal. Playing like a wild 4-year-old. Been okay, just open up how I've been lately to my bro and my girlfriend. How you've been? Have you not been good? Is that what you opened up about, I assume? Have you been having some rough times lately, man? That's true. It is also, it's very good to open up on that kind of stuff. I definitely struggle with that, as Shinny Wifey can attest to. I'm terrible about opening up. Missed a few people and told them how I've been thinking, but they understand and they're worried about me. I do. I really do suck at emotions. Cover everything up with humor. I'm pretty sure that's healthy, right? Sorry. Had him out of view and out of focus there for a second. So it hasn't wrapped, but I did anyway, so I just told them I was emotional about a lot of things. It is great to hear. Little steps, and sometimes being truthful about that kind of stuff can help fix things, because especially in a situation if, like, let's say someone is doing something that, you know, maybe it's annoying you or bugging you, but they don't realize that what they're doing is bugging you. Like, if you don't tell them, they may never know. So they're just going to keep doing it, and you're just going to keep being annoyed and bugged and, you know, miserable. So if you don't tell them that they're doing something that's bothering you, they might just be oblivious to it. Like, it might seem super obvious to you. Like, how do they not know that they're doing this? But for them, it might just be something normal. And they just, you know, maybe it doesn't, you just don't realize it. Does that make sense? Hopefully that made sense. If not, you know, just tell me I'm rambling again. Okay, I think going with the dark brown for his pants was a good idea. I'm really liking that dark brown. And I think once we get the black added for their weapons and stuff, and get the wash on there, I think these are gonna look pretty good. Pretty good. So let's get some black shaken up here. I'm also not positive here, but I feel like this camera, I feel like there's like just a very slight delay on, like, I don't know, when I move or when I say something, it to me it looks like it's like, I don't know, half a second behind or something. It's not much, but it's just enough that every time I look at it, it bugs me because it looks off. And I tried restarting it. I tried messing with the settings. I don't know. It's being weird. It's not a huge deal, but it's one of those things that it bugs me. Keep me up at night. Little steps. So they're going to send me to counseling about it to let it out for a bit. That's a good idea. Counseling is good, especially a good therapist. I have been to a couple of different counselors and stuff over the years. It can really help. Over here about to knock all my stuff off the desk on accident. It's definitely not easy to get out of your comfort zone and talk about that kind of stuff, especially with family, and especially with people that, you know, potentially could be, I don't want to say like causing the problem, but that are potentially involved in, you know, whatever situation it is. You know, those are a lot of times the hardest people to talk to, because it, you know, feels like a confrontation, basically. So going out of your comfort zone and talking to them and talking about it, and, you know, potentially looking at going into therapy or you know, counseling or whatever, that's a huge step. That's a big thing to do. So we're proud of you, little buddy. And that's true too, what Shiny Wifey just said. Some counselors just click better than others. Like some of them, sometimes their personality, you know, maybe it doesn't mesh well with you. Well, find a different counselor. Try somebody else. There's like a bajillion counselors out there, so find one that works for you. Yet another response podcast. How's it going? Sorry, I haven't been watching the streams. Work has been murder on the schedule. It's okay. I completely understand. Work is one of those things that it's not always easy to work around. Ha 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 ha. Get it? I'm terrible. But welcome back. Thank you for stopping by. Now let's see here. I know my good buddy Wesley is part of the podcast. However, I'm pretty sure this is not Wesley using the YARP account. I'm just going to call you guys YARP. It's easier to say quickly, especially. It's easier to, it just rolls off the tongue real nicely. YARP. But yeah, I don't think this is Wesley. I mean, I could be wrong. Could be Wesley, but I feel like it was who I was talking to last time. However, I cannot remember your name. I really apologize. I'm already bad enough at remembering names in real life, but trying to remember names of people who stop by with an account that's not their actual name, that's like, you're killing me, Smalls. It's Wyatt. And we even call ourselves Yarp. I love it. Okay, good. Now I don't feel bad. Thanks to my video, it was hard for a bit since I didn't grow up with much of a father figure, so I didn't really know how to act or open up. I understand that part extremely well. I did have a father figure when I was young, but then unfortunately my father passed away, and so I did not have a father figure during my formative teenage years. How you been, Wyatt? How you doing? We are, not only am I painting, but we are giving our worst life advice. Sorry, our best life advice to little buddy here. Little buddy's been one of our regulars for, at least off and on regular, for quite a while now. Trying to remember, it's been at least a couple of years. Little buddy, was it when we used to play Dauntless? Was that where we met you, or was it even further back than that? And what Shinny Wifey is saying there is very, very true. I mean, it's definitely possible that, you know, in you know, one meeting with a counselor, you might just be like, oh wow, that, you know, that really helped, that was fantastic. But it's also possible you could go, you know, 4 or 5 sessions and be like, you know what, not a lot has happened yet. Like, I don't really feel like anything's changing. Like, it can take time. It's definitely something good to keep in mind. But, like we said earlier, there's always that possibility that, you know, you and the counselor just don't mesh, and maybe you gotta find a different counselor. It was Dauntless? Okay, that's what I was thinking. Sometimes I have a good memory. Friend just graduated from counseling recently after a long road. We threw him a party. We were so proud of him. It helped him so much. I work with him, so I saw a huge difference. Let's see, I'm alright. In terms of the ongoing conversation, my father, for a good chunk of my life, had the approach of being an asshole will help him become an adult, which is only just now starting to heal. Yeah, those are not the fun father figures to have. I was definitely lucky to have the amazing father that I did have. It was just unfortunate that he passed so soon. He lost his... You know what? No, he tied his battle with cancer, because the cancer died too. When I was 13. But he was pretty fantastic. So in that respect, I was lucky, because I know a lot of people out there did not have that type of father figure. Almost done with this guy's backpack. I keep somehow like setting my left elbow down in like a somehow very painful position. I don't know how I keep doing it over and over again. There's nothing sharp there. I've checked, but boy, something feels sharp over there. No problem. Whatever you need to work out, you can do it. Believe in the me that believes in you. I love it. Did you just say it's almost summer break? How is it almost summer break? We're in like almost July. When does summer break start nowadays? For me, summer break always started like end of May through like mid to late August. Is that not how it works anymore? My issues were more with my mother, who went from not really caring to becoming the strictest person in the world that made me feel like I was never really good enough despite being a mostly... That's never fun either. A straight A student that never did drugs, drank, or had sex. You were like the perfect school kid. Like you were basically like the kid that most normal parents would have like begged their kids to be like, is what it sounds like. Yeah, that's never easy growing up with that type of family dynamic. I almost forgot you were over there behind me. She coughed and it scared me. I don't know if you were able to hear her cough on the stream or not, but I heard it. I heard it in real life with my real ears. Kids at school constantly had to deal with her finding a new insult to literal children who she never met. The kid's face is too long. That's not cool. Especially something like that. I mean, like, that's not even something that a kid can fix. I mean, one, I don't think you should, you know, yell any kind of insults at a kid, but like as an example, that's horrible. There is a part of this gun here that I'm going to have a really difficult time getting a brush in to paint. This is why a lot of people like to do what they call sub-assemblies, where they will not glue the whole model together like I've already done, and they will paint the pieces and then glue it together. But I'm apparently a masochist and enjoy doing it the hard way. Oh dang, that is not cool. Yarp, that is not cool at all. And I am glad you're almost at summer break, little buddy. That's always a nice time. I remember summer break fondly. You paint minis this way, too, the same way I'm doing? What the way a lot of people would say is the wrong way? I like to assemble them because I can play with them while they're assembled. Like, you know, I'll primer them and stuff, and then I'll at least have, you know, gray minis on the field, and then I'll paint as many as I can. Like, whenever I actually played Legion, Star Wars Legion, which is what I'm painting here, I played it last week? What day was that? Monday? I think it was. And, like half my army was painted. 2 whole armies painted by hand, fully constructed, very nice. I actually don't even have a full army painted yet. I'm approaching it with my rebels. Even in like Warhammer, I mean, I got into Warhammer a couple of years back with a few of my buddies, and I just had the hardest time really getting like attached to it. I don't know, like I was enjoying it, but I was really struggling with like the lore and stuff. There was so much to a new person, and I mean, they like grew up with Warhammer. I didn't. And then I found out that there's other miniature games like Star Wars Legion. There's Star Wars games, and I love Star Wars. So for me, it was very easy to switch to Star Wars. Because, you know, it's Star Wars, man. And I mean, I'm sure there's other miniature games out there that I would like too, but the fact that this is a Star Wars game makes me very happy. Now with brushes that I need to replace, I actually need to, I have a few brushes that are, I have like some very kind of generic brushes. Like I mostly bought like cheap packs of brushes. Like, I got some of these at like Hobby Lobby, like a pack of like 10 of them for like $5. They're not great, but you know, some of them work okay. And then I got a few of these. These are kind of nice. They've got kind of that extra, I don't know, easier comfort grip. But I think I got 10 of these for $15 or $16. I definitely did not spend a lot of money on them. But I try my best. I use my brush cleaner. I try to keep them in pretty good working order. I do have a few that are like completely ruined and like there's no coming back from it. But I have a couple of these nicer brushes that I try to clean pretty regularly. This number 2 is probably my favorite brush right now. the one that I was just using. Like, I don't know, for me it's like just about the perfect size. It's got a real fine tip. I can usually paint some pretty good details and stuff with it, but it also holds, like the actual brush part holds a good amount of paint. Because some brushes, like they may have a fine tip, but then they just don't hold any paint. And so you're just constantly going back and, you know, trying to grab more paint from your palette, and it's just annoying. But that number 2 is pretty good, because the number 1, it's only a little bit smaller, but I always feel like I'm running out of paint with this. And you can maybe tell this is from a number 1 to a number 2. The brush on the number 2 is just significantly longer, and both of them are already kind of getting hooked tips. But I've kind of learned to work around that a little bit. Started a new hobby, trying to challenge myself to not kill plants. She has been doing a lot of gardening. A lot. Been researching, trying to keep my new plants alive. Yeah, she picked up like a bunch of different like succulents and I don't know, a couple of random things from some of the local garden centers. Oh, Yarp, you don't have to answer this, but do you... Wesley, for example, he lives here local. Like, I live near him, I know him pretty well. Do you live local too, or do you live somewhere else? Succulents and air plants, that's right. I couldn't think of the name of the other kind of plants that you had. Okay. Let's get my itty bitty army painter super detail. Mainly dry brush. I do use dry brush sometimes. Okay, that did not. Let's grab this guy. That's too much. Sorry, I'm trying to mix my white paint back up real quick. Dry it out a little. I'm in Arizona, record the podcast over Discord, then post on here. Nice, okay. See, I wasn't sure if like all of you guys were local or how that worked exactly. With the internet, nobody has to be local. Let's see, little buddy was helping their school last year in their garden for a bit. Desert Man, Kansas Ninja, a skeleton from Florida, and a potato. Is that you guys' group? I know Wes was kind of going by, last I heard he was going by like Ginger Ninja. I'm normally the one that goes to the plant shop and go, oh, you look so pretty, you want to come back to my place and die? What? Is it? Oh, I leaned too far forward? Sorry. My bad. You guys aren't really going to be able to see this, but so I already went through and basically gave them black gaping eye holes, which, you know, looks terrifying. But I'm going to go back and add, hopefully, some white corneas into the black area. And it's okay if, like this, there's not really much black left over. That's okay. The important part is that the cornea happens. Got a little bit on the nose. I wipe that off with my other brush that's still maybe a little bit damp. Not exactly. Okay, mostly got it. Oh, I got some on his chin anyway, so I'm gonna have to fix that. Alright, well I got his corneas. We'll go back into his pupils in a bit. That's the podcast group? Okay. Yeah, Kansas Ninja. That I know who that one is. He's the one I know. The one I know in person. We used to work together. Alright, same thing with you, buddy. I actually did an episode talking about the Warhammer shows. There's still plenty of time to convince Ninja the universe is cool. See, and to me, it's not that I think the universe isn't cool, because I do think that the Warhammer universe is really cool. It's just trying to get into a miniature game. For me, getting into a Star Wars game was way easier. Whoops, sorry. There we go. Now he has pure white corneas with very slight black outlines around them. Kind of helps. So basically, like, I paint a little bit of black and then I go back and paint just a little tiny bit of white. And that gets us, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit here. That kind of gets us this look here. Quit wiggling, camera. So he looks, you know, kind of terrifying, but, you know, it works. Then I come back with my magnificent Gundam marker panel lining. So challenged myself to make a crochet dragon scale dice bag, but it was so hard, but she conquered. She did, and it looks awesome. He hates Warhammer, especially since he says the writing is on the wall with woke GW, even though the story has only gotten better. See, I don't think Games Workshop is hurting for money, like, at all. I don't think the writing's on the wall at all. If anything, the thing that I think is gonna hurt them is their like reluctance to allow any kind of 3D printing. And I know, you know, they want to sell their models. That's fine. Oh, dang it. I get that. And I'm not against that. I think they, you know, they make their models. They should be able to sell them. That's not terrible. But I think that if they embraced 3D printing a little bit more, I'm not sure exactly how, but I think if maybe they had a way to sell or release their own 3D files, I think that would be really cool. Like, be able to 3D print, like, official Warhammer models. I think that would be really neat. I don't know how it would work. I just think it would be cool. But depending on how they wanted to do it, like if they wanted to license out the files or something, I mean, that could be like an added cost. Oh, it doesn't quite, I can't quite reach that other eye. Alright, we're gonna have to do this the hard way. Tiny brush, little bit of black. Oop. Oh, that actually looks pretty good. Alright, let me see if I can... He looks like he's got the 1,000-yard stare, but it's fine. It's fine. We're all fine here. Everything's good. He'll be alright. I just need to fix this spot on his chin real quick. And then I need to figure out, both of these guys have beards. But, or at least this guy has a mustache, maybe not a beard. But, yeah, it looks like he just has a mustache. That's okay. Can't all be cool and have beards, I guess. This guy, he has a beard and then kind of like a soul patch, it looks like. Sell the license for the STL files for 50 bucks a sprue type. Ooh, that's actually not a bad idea. Because then you could buy one sprue for, you know, roughly the same price as what the sprue costs. But then you could print, you know, multiples. And then obviously they could still go after people who are 3D printing and selling, unless they have some sort of like commercial licensing agreement. Like that's how a lot of the people on like Patreon and My Mini Factory that handle 3D models, a lot of them have commercial licenses, and they sell like a limited number of licenses to people so that people can 3D print their stuff and sell it. Because like Games Workshop might not want to get into 3D printing themselves, but if they license it out and let other people 3D print for them, like, I mean, they could make money off of that. Like on My Mini Factory, and Patreon, a lot of times you can sign up for a commercial license for some of these smaller people, like Artisan Guild or trying to think of another one, but it might be, you know, 30 or 40 bucks a month per commercial license. And obviously Games Workshop would probably charge higher than that for a commercial license per month. Dakota just tripped over Dog Bowl. Yeah, hopefully she stays asleep. But like if I wanted to sign up, I've actually been looking into this because I 3D print some stuff. But there's a couple of different ones where I could sign up for that commercial license and then print those models and then sell them potentially. But Games Workshop could do something similar. Like they could sell them to individuals, but then also sell a limited number of commercial licenses to some of the bigger 3D print manufacturers out there. But then 3D printers could, you know, set their own prices. It was like, oh, well, you know, I can print really fast and, you know, really cheap. So, you know, I'll sell Space Marines for this much money or whatever. And I know in a lot of cases, Games Workshop actually has the 3D files, especially for a lot of the newer kits, because a lot of like the instruction booklets are using 3D renders, and I'm pretty sure they used a 3D model, at least for some of them, to you know, I don't want that brown, but I'm pretty sure they used a 3D model on some of them to make their like prototypes and stuff. But yeah, I think if they found a good way to embrace 3D printing, I think it would only help them in the long run. Because I don't think people are going to stop buying their models just because they can also get 3D printed ones. Because 3D printing has come a long way, but it's still often not as fast as injection molding and stuff like that. They're able to get insane quality fast, where with resin 3D printing, because I have a resin 3D printer now, granted I have an older one, but you just can't get that kind of speed and quality. Like resin newer printers are definitely better than the one that I have, but they're not like 10 times better. They're like, you know, maybe 2 or 3 times better. But yeah, I think Games Workshop could support some 3D printing. Well, I'm pretty happy with his face. Get that brown out of my brush. Part of the problem I'm having with my wet palette tonight is the palette isn't actually very wet. Oh, sorry, I leaned forward a little bit too much there. It's gonna look super red here for a little bit while I get the base down there. But I think the so my wet palette has like a foam back area, and that's supposed to stay nice and wet, nice and damp, and it is still damp, but I think it lost some of the I don't know, we have a dehumidifier running right behind me because our basement flooded not too long ago, and I think that dried out my wet palette too much, and I should have added more water before I started tonight, but I didn't. Headed to bed soonish, hope to have you on the podcast soon. Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. Have your people get in touch with my people, or whatever the important people say. Like this guy, a ginger. He's got a ginger mustache. I just gotta add some add a wash to these guys. And then these two can join the rest of their squad, which is kind of tucked in behind here. Like, we got Luke. Obviously, he's not in a squad with them, but we got Luke. We got some more guys back here. The rest of this guy's squad. Like, this guy. Really, really happy with him. Oh, I need to do his belt buckle. I didn't grab the gray yet. Sorry, let me do that real quick. I'll get his while I'm thinking about it. Or else I'm just gonna forget again. So I'm just using some uniform gray, but I'm just gonna put just a little bit of gray. I don't need much. Just oop, that's probably actually too much, but oh well. Alright, a little bit of gray. Paint his belt buckle. There we go. That's all. Just the belt buckle. And lastly, need to get a wash on these guys. And we are going to be using this soft tone wash from Army Painter. That's what I've been using on pretty much all of these guys so far. So I'm going to keep that up. And I'm going to switch to this other brush. I always use this brush for washes. I keep it consistent and it doesn't ruin my other brush. Washes usually aren't too bad, but they do have a tendency to kind of harden up a little bit as they dry. So we're going to get this really kind of caked onto his legs here. So it seeps into all the nice little cracks and seams and stuff here. All the folds and crevices. Really darkens up those pants quite a bit, which is good because they were a little bit not quite neon, but they were kind of bright. Much brighter than I was really expecting them to be. Basically, I'm just gonna soak most parts of this model. Very few spots that I don't really want to hit, or care if I do or don't. Like his guns at the moment are just black. His backpack is black, so I don't really care if I get wash on it. It doesn't help anything too, because can't really see it. If anything, it'll just make it slightly shiny. What I'm going to do later is I'm going to go back and dry brush on the gun and the backpack, and that'll help some of the areas, like the raised edges and stuff, will be highlighted a little bit because of the dry brushing, because I'm going to dry brush it with like a light gray or something. Should help with seeing some of the details, especially on the guns and the backpacks. So I'm going to grab his buddy over here and do the same thing. I usually start low, like at their boots and their pants. Boots and pants and boots and pants. It just, I don't know, if it starts dripping down, it's going to be dripping onto stuff you've already covered, so it doesn't really hurt it at all, I guess. Because this kind of does go on very sloppy and thick. Damn, the voice in my ears. Talking about my voice? You like my voice? Or is it loud? Could be loud. Hopefully it's not too loud. Hopefully you're just enjoying the sound of my voice. I'm just adding a wash to one of the miniatures I've been working on tonight. And how you doing tonight? Sabo? I don't know if it's supposed to be Sabo or Sabo. Let's get a little bit of that on his arm instead of in there. Get the... Sorry. Get the back of his arm here. And that little crevice. No, it's a lot better. I remember long ago your mic wasn't this good. It's been a while since I've seen your streams, not gonna lie. It's been a bit since I've streamed on YouTube regularly, so welcome back. I was on Twitch for a little while, but I have recently come back because I decided I wanted to be on YouTube again. I'm no expert or anything, but I know that some of the people who are pretty good at like calling the shots, they think that moving to YouTube is a better idea than Twitch. And I mean, I was really kind of struggling to grow over there anyways, so I'm not upset about coming back to YouTube. I enjoy some of the features over here anyways. I'm doing pretty good too. Just painting some little guys for Star Wars Legion. I don't know if you're familiar with the game at all, but I've recently kind of gotten into some tabletop games like Warhammer and Star Wars Legion. This guy is from Star Wars Legion, as well as some of the others back here in the background. But I've been working on some of these, and this isn't even my good mic. I mean, this is just my headset mic. I just use this for my paint streams. But this is a pretty good mic for a headset mic. But my good mic's over on my desktop behind me. Shinny Wifey's sitting over there, kind of close to it. She's not at my desktop, but she's over there playing on her laptop. I'm pretty happy with how this guy came out. Pretty much he just needs a dry brush on his backpack and his gun, and then he needs his basing stuff done, but I'm not going to do that stuff tonight. So we got these out of the way here. I need to put some of my paints back up on my paint shelf. I had them all. I took them all with me to work so I could paint on my lunch break and stuff. And I haven't put them all back yet, so they're not all organized. I've been kind of fighting through them. Recently got into Star Wars in general because of some friends. I finished the first 3 movies. Okay, when you say first 3 movies, do you mean the original trilogy, or do you mean like the prequels? Like, are you watching them in like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 order, or are you watching them in like release that they came out? Because I grew up with Star Wars. I've always liked Star Wars, and a few of my friends tried to get me into Warhammer, which I'm not against Warhammer by any means, but I grew up with Star Wars, and so for me, a game like this, Star Wars Legion, is much easier for me to get into. So I got like these guys. Whoops, stand back up. There's one squad. We got Luke Skywalker. We got this other squad over here. Alright, so we got those 2 squads. The original trilogy release that came out. Okay, gotcha. yeah, so that's what I grew up watching as a kid. And I probably watched like the special edition and stuff too. I don't remember what all we had. Actually, I remember seeing some of the special editions in theaters, like in the 90s, like when they re-released them. Let's see, these two go over here. And let's move this with the barricades back out of the way a little bit. And then these 5. There we go. So this, all of this right here, let me zoom this back out just a hair. This is my 500 point army that I've been playing recently. This is, I recently joined, they call it an Escalation League at my local gaming store. And I've never done one of these before. I've never done like any tournaments or anything. I've only played like a total of 3 Star Wars Legion games, and two of them were the like starter tutorial battles. And then one of them was my first Escalation League game at the gaming store last week. So this is the army I took, except without this person in each of the squads, because you can only, I think you can only take one heavy weapons guy, and I brought the guy with the big minigun. This person has a ion cannon, and I guess it's really good against like vehicles and stuff, but nobody had any vehicles because it was like a smaller point game, so I didn't figure that'd be a good thing to bring. So this guy has the big minigun with lots of bullets. That seemed like it would be a good idea to me. But yeah, this is basically what I brought last week, and probably what I'm going to play again with this week. And then I'm going to be adding stuff as the weeks go on. That's how an Escalation League works. You start with like a small army, and then you build and add more stuff to it as it goes. Is it like board time game or digital? It is kind of like a board game. Like you actually play with these physical miniatures. I go to, let me grab some water real quick. I haven't drank anything in a while. But it's at the local shop, and they're like right down the street, like 3 minutes from my house. But basically, you play versus an opponent who's playing a different army. They might be playing Empire, they could be playing another Rebel army. In fact, the guy I'm playing this week is playing another Rebel army. But there's Rebels, there's Empire, there's the Clone Troopers, and then the Battle Droids, which if you've only seen the original trilogy so far, you might not know much about the Clone Troopers or Battle Droids, and that's fine. When you watch the prequels, it'll make a lot more sense. But these are the Rebels, with Luke Skywalker as my leader. He's wearing his outfit from Episode 5 when he went to confront Vader on Bespin, which you've seen that part now. But yeah, so you start with a kind of a smaller army like this. Here, I'll just move these two out of the way since they're not part of the actual army. And then for the first 2 weeks, I play with this army, and then week 3 and 4, I add some. So this is 500 points. I increase up to 650 points, and then I play like that. And I've bought some veterans, which are going to be these guys over here. So you can run this squad of 6 guys over here as one veteran squad. And then you can also add this guy on this mounted turret. I haven't painted them. I literally just got them. I primered them, and that's about it. But you got this guy on this mounted machine gun turret. You can run him as like, he's kind of his own squad. So I'll set him back there on his own. But then the game is played kind of like a strategy game, like not really a real-time strategy, more like turn-based, because like basically on my turn, I'll pick one squad and move them and roll dice to shoot at the other guy's squads, things like that. And then on his turn, he does the same thing. He picks one and does the same. And we alternate back and forth. He picks a squad, I pick a squad. We go back and back and back. Once all of our squads have gone, then that round is over. And then we roll and do some more stuff. And basically you take, there's a bunch of rounds involved, but you continue through all of your turns until you either wipe the other guy off the board or he wipes you off the board. Which last week I got completely wiped off the board. So yeah, I got these Rebel Veterans, and I think I might actually need to get one more thing to bump me up to that 650 points. It's like chess, where you one-shot, or is there damage points? So that question gets a little bit complicated. So certain things have one-shot, like most of the little Rebel troopers only have one hit point, so whenever someone rolls their dice and hits them, they just die. And so like if the other guy shoots at me, like let's say they shot at this squad, it's got 5 people here, but let's say he shoots at me and hits with 3 bullets, okay, I then roll some dice to see if I can dodge, or maybe they got into cover or blocked the damage somehow, and maybe I get one block. So he hit me with 3 and I get 1 block. So I cancel out one of his hits and I take 2 damage. So I get a pick. I'm like, all right, well, these 2 got hit, right? So I take them out of the game. But in between, like, it's not just shooting. Like, I don't just set this on the field and go. Like, you play on kind of a larger map and you move around. There's terrain. I've got a few things, like I have these little barricades. These actually came with the starter set. I haven't painted them up. I just primered them the other day, but like there's a couple of variations. But these are kind of minor terrain. Let me see. I don't know if I have anything bigger that's in reach. I have some other 3D printed terrain, but basically like you set it up like a battlefield, and sometimes there's buildings, sometimes there's craters, just all sorts of stuff. And you move, and like if you're hidden behind a building, they can't shoot at you because they can't see you, right? So you have to kind of like, I don't know. It's a really cool game. I think it's considered a war game or a skirmish type game because it's a little bit smaller than say Warhammer 40k. Warhammer's like one of the big ones. Like a lot of people seem to have at least heard of Warhammer or know a little bit about Warhammer. But Star Wars Legion is kind of relatively new. You move within the board based on a dice. I kind of get it. So sort of, yes. So hey Crystal, can you hand me the box? Star Wars Legion, not the top one, the bottom one. It'll be a lot easier to explain. Thank you very much. Okay, so, sorry. Had her grab me the box because she was still down here. So they've kind of simplified some of the stuff a little bit. Some games, like in Warhammer, for example. In Warhammer, you use a ruler or a tape measure for almost everything. Anytime you're moving, anytime you're trying to see if you can shoot somebody, stuff like that. Get this kind of... Here, I'll just put it up. Sorry, I'm trying to reposition some stuff while explaining things. So, let me zoom out even more. Here we go. Alright, so they give you these little movement sticks, and these are on like hinges, so they flex and everything. And then they put a little notch in here. So there's 1 notch on this one. There's 2 notches on this one. So this is a movement 1 and a movement 2. And then there's an even bigger one that has 3 notches, and these are the movement things. And basically, so like for example, Luke Skywalker can use a movement 2, and they all have like cards with all their stats printed on them. Do I have their? Oh, here we go. I do have I have everything right here next to me. Now that Shinny Wifey brought me the box. Let me find Luke's card real quick. But yeah, so the whole, oh, here we go. He's right here at the front. The starter box comes with a lot of cool stuff. But so you've got like Luke Skywalker's card. He has a jump ability, he has a charge ability, he has a deflect ability, he's immune to pierce, he does damage with his lightsaber, or he can shoot his pistol. He has 6 wounds, or health, so basically he can take 6 hits before he dies. And then he has a courage of 3, which I'm not going to go over courage right now, but basically he costs 160 points to play. And yes, and certain characters like Luke especially, I mean he's like a hero character. He has like a bunch of abilities, as you can see there. But the like standard, like let's look at like the standard Rebel troopers compared to Luke. Like, I mean, he's a hero character, and they're just like bog standard guys. They have nimble, and that's all they have. So Luke is obviously, you know, very strong, but I mean, he's supposed to be, right? He's Luke Skywalker. But so if I was wanting to move for Luke, he can move with a 2. So basically I just put this next to him, and you pick him up and you move him to the other end. That's it. That's how you move. And so this gives everyone like a predetermined, like you know how far everyone can move. And certain characters like Darth Vader has, yes, the troopers are basically pawns. They really, really are. Certain characters like Vader only use the shorter movement stick, so they don't move very far. And then, but you can move twice, so technically, like, I could set this down for Luke, move him once, and then put it down again, and move him a second time. So he can do all of that in one turn. Like, he can move really far. But if he moves, if he does that, he can't do anything else, because you can only do 2 things on your turn. So these little guys, like I could grab the sergeant here, the guy in the trench coat. He could move 1, and then everyone else just kind of goes with him. You don't have to measure everyone else, which I think is super, super nice. But you move him, they've moved. Now they can shoot. So they also give you these range sticks, which I think are pretty cool because they just kind of click together. So you can, I think these guys have a range of 3 with their guns, so I click 3 of them. I have 4, but you click 3 of them together, and now I can take this at him, and I can say, oh yeah, he can see this guy way over here. And then I roll dice at that point. If I determine I'm going to shoot at someone, I roll dice to see if I can even hit them. And basically, you would total up. You would look at their card. They're using their gun, so yeah, they shoot 3. And however, this is where it gets a little bit. Oh no, well, so they shooting? So they could shoot at Luke. In this example, yes, I could have them. We'll just say Luke was here. I could have them potentially shoot at Luke, right? So let's move this squad out of the way. Let's just say that this squad was going to shoot at Luke. That could happen. I mean, you wouldn't do it to your own Luke, but let's say Luke was being played by somebody else. That'll help. But I'm going to grab this other card, because this is where things get ever so slightly complicated. So the troopers, for their card, this is their very base card. Shinny Wifey, you two have a good night. I'll be up here in a little while. I have this upgrade card that I can add on for the Z6 Trooper, which adds this dude with the big machine gun. So by having this card, and basically, I mean, you would put all these out, like I would set all this out on the table at the same time at the beginning, like, and I'm not gonna like surprise my opponent. I'm not gonna be like, oh, and I have this. Like, that's not how it's played. Like, you put all your cards out, and you're like, this is my army, and they can look at all your cards, they can see what you have, and you can look at their cards too. Like, it's a friendly game. It's not like you're not trying to trick anybody. But basically, so I have 5 normal guys, and then I have this guy with the big gun. So my normal guys, it's kind of hard to explain, but they have this. They have 1 black dice. So let me grab some of the dice out of here real quick because they're all kind of jumbled in here at the moment. So when you're attacking, you use these D8s. And there are a few different symbols. There are hits. There's misses, but there's nothing on them. There's crits. Like that. And then this symbol here is a surge. Which, for most people, a surge is a miss. But for certain characters, like, for example, Luke Skywalker, if he rolls a surge, it turns it into a crit. But for the normal Rebel Troopers, it counts as a miss. It's kind of a way to turn each dice into like a different dice, if that makes sense. Like, it kind of gives you a little bit more variety with your dice. There's spell type cards as well, so it's basically like Yu-Gi-Oh! And chess in one with no secrecy. Yes, basically, yeah. There's no trap cards or anything really, but like everything. It is kind of like mixing Yu-Gi-Oh! And chess. That's actually a pretty good way to put it. Like the strategy of chess, because you got to move your guys around, determine, you know, okay, I got to get them in range, but you also don't want your guys to be like out in the open. Like, you want to try to get them into cover. Sometimes there's objectives out on the map. Sometimes there might be like, oh, if you hold this fort over here, at the end of the turn, you get extra points or something like that. But basically for these guys attacking, where's my other black dice? Here we go. So I would grab 5 black dice, and then I would also grab 6, I think it's 6 white dice. Where did I put that card? Oh, it's underneath. Yeah. So I'd grab 5 white or black ones, and then this guy gets, by himself, he gets 6 white dice. So I would also grab a bunch of white ones. Now, the white ones have a lot more blanks on them than the black ones do. Like, there's a crit, there's a hit, there's a lot of blanks, and then there's a surge. So he has like a quarter, 25% chance to actually hit or crit with this dice. Everything else is kind of like a miss. But so you would roll the 5 of these for the normal guys, and you would roll 6 of these for that guy all at once. You would just roll all those dice, and then you would just add up how many hits you have, how many misses you have. Well, all you really care about are the hits, but how many hits you have, how many crits you have. And yeah, that's just kind of very generic run through of like how the rules work in it. But you'll have different upgrade cards for different things. Like, I have this upgrade card, which is kind of the same thing, but it's for this guy on the walker. So he has, you could give him a different upgrade card and it'll change what his main weapon is, depending on which card you play. You can give your infantry like grenades, which ignores cover, which is handy. I don't know, there's just a bunch of different things like that. The starter set, almost a good chunk of what you see here, so like all of these rebels, all the movement tools, all the cards, the big cards, like I have a big deck of cards with objectives and different things, all the little upgrade cards, all of this, plus the Empire side, all came in the starter box. Let's see, these guys didn't. Let me move some stuff out of the way. These guys didn't. The veterans over here didn't. But Luke, these 2 squads, and this guy, 8 of these little barricade things, all the movement sticks, all the range sticks, all the cards, 1 set of dice. You also use tokens. Let me try to find a good one. Like, you can give your guys, well, if you get shot at, you get like a suppression token. You can give yourself aim tokens. Like, I don't know. These all come in the starter set. Like, there's a ton of stuff in the starter set. But again, this came with the Rebels and the Empire. So you get Stormtroopers, you get Darth Vader, you get some guys on speeder bikes. They're over there on the table, or else I would show them to you. There is actually a way to play it online. I don't know if you've ever heard of Tabletop Simulator. Oh, sorry, stretching a little bit there. But Tabletop Simulator, there is a mod for it that actually lets you play Star Wars Legion online. It has all the rules. It has like the movement stuff. It's actually really cool how it works. But yeah, you could totally play Star Wars Legion online to try it out before buying. And I will say, it is much cheaper than games like Warhammer. I don't know if you've ever looked at the prices for like Warhammer 40k. However, this is still not a, I wouldn't say it's a cheap hobby at all. But the starter box, I've seen it go on sale at times, because I bought the starter box for $80, which, don't get me wrong, $80 is a chunk of money to spend on a game. But the fact that you get a small rebel army, a small empire army, you get some barricades, you get all the movement things, all the tokens, a set of dice, like you get a good chunk of stuff that you need to start the game. You get all of that included, which I think is, honestly, I think that's a really good deal. However, I think normally the starter set is like $120. But again, it does go on sale sometimes. Like I said, I got mine for $80. So I would definitely say try to play it online through like Tabletop Simulator. Find out if you even like the game. If you do, fantastic. Try to get a deal on like one of the starter sets. And then you could even go halvesies with like a friend or something. Like if someone else wants to try it with you, you could split it. You could take the Rebels and then let your friend have the Empire, the Stormtroopers and stuff, or vice versa. Maybe you want to play as the Stormtroopers with Darth Vader. Gonna hit the hay for the last day of school tomorrow. All right, little buddy, thanks for stopping by. Really appreciate it, man. Hopefully you have a good last day of school. Have a good night, man. Get some sleep. But yeah, definitely try it online. Whether you're gonna buy anything or not, give it a shot online. I mean, you can totally play the whole game online. I think they even have tournaments through Tabletop Simulator. Like, I think there's like a official Discord for the Tabletop Simulator mod, with like a lot of people that play. 2 of my trial games, like where I was trying to learn how to play, I did through Tabletop Simulator. And then I've only actually played 1 real game in real life. But I really enjoy painting the miniatures. I enjoy building them, because they come as like, I don't know, they come in a handful of pieces. Like Luke Skywalker here. Here, let's zoom back in here. Luke was probably 4, maybe 5 pieces. Like his legs were a piece. His legs and torso might have all been 1 piece. I can't remember. His arms were separate, and maybe his head was separate, but overall, like, he's just a few pieces and super glue them together. But I really enjoy building and painting my models. So for me, like, it's not just like the game is fun, but I also just enjoy building and painting. Like the hobby aspect of it is really fun for me. Little buddy, have a good night, man. Thank you so much. Again, thank you for stopping by. Always great to have you. So for me, I was looking at this starter set that I got for $80. whenever I bought this, and again, this is just half the army that was in it, because you get this, and then you get basically the equivalent of this for the Empire as well. Oh, and sorry, there's also these other two miniatures that I had set aside. So you get this much for the Rebels. You got me invested in Dokkan once, and now you get me invested in Star Wars Legion. I'm liking Star Wars, so I'm invested in Star Wars stuff in general. I get you, man. I get you. Apparently Alexa heard something. What did... She just paused my music. What did she do? What did she do? Go back to my playlist. She's playing it over there. What are you doing? No, this computer. There we go. For some reason, she thought she needed to play the music through the echo over there on the other side of the room. I don't even know what I said. That's hilarious. I was like, what? Like, she switched to a different playlist, and then I couldn't hear it. I was like, what is happening? And it's because it was back over there. But yeah, no, I don't know. I really like this game. I think it's a lot of fun. I'm definitely not gonna like tell you need to buy something. But for me, like, here's an example. Like, in this game, a full army is 800 points of troops. And this that comes in the starter set is about 400 points or so, give or take. Probably between 400 and 500. But compared to, say, Warhammer, because a couple of my friends tried to get me into Warhammer, I did buy a bunch of stuff. I really enjoyed Warhammer, but the rules were like very, very complicated compared to this. This game has a very streamlined approach to the rules, and I really like the way the rules work in this game compared to Warhammer. But I also really like how things are priced in this game compared to Warhammer. In Warhammer, buying one box of Space Marines will set you back like 50 or 60 bucks, and you'll get like 10 guys. And you need a lot of guys for a Warhammer army. Like, 10 Space Marines is like 200 points of troops, and you need like 2,000 points for a full like normal sized army. And like if you want to buy a tank, that's like $70 or $80. If you want to buy a leader for your army, that's like $30. Sometimes 20, depending on if it's a kind of a cheaper leader or something. But I mean, some of the models, like, here, hold on. Let me grab some models real quick, because I have some on the shelf right next to me. Hold on. Some of the models for Warhammer are just really, really cool. And let's see here. Grab these two guys. And we'll grab this guy. Ugh. Yeah, Warhammer, you could pretty easily spend like $400 or $500 or more trying to build like a full army. I definitely spread my purchases, and actually that would probably be a pretty cheap army if you were able to do it for $400 or $500. You could probably be looking at closer to like $1,000 for like a normal Warhammer army. But like, here's an example of like one of the guys. Like, this is a dreadnought. He's like a big walking mech tank thing. Like, there's a Space Marine inside of here, and he's just got this big hulking suit. This thing is strong, does a lot of damage. Like, it's really cool. I think this one model is like 50 bucks, something like that. You got these guys. These are assault intercessors, and they've got chainsaw swords basically. Like they're really cool looking dudes. A box of 10 of these guys is like $50. And you could run a whole lot more than 10 of these guys in an army. This is a really old model. A friend of mine traded me this model really because he's specifically, like, I was running the Black Templars as my army, and this guy only runs in my army, and my friend had this really old, like, classic model, and he traded it for me. But I think this model went for like $20 or $30. But he's a really awesome model. I can't even remember what I traded for it. And then I 3D printed this this base and this nameplate for him because I thought it'd be really cool. Then you have some characters like this guy. He's a Blade Guard captain. He's got a giant shield. He's got a cool power sword. I mean, they've got some really awesome stuff. But like you said, like they're not worth that price. And so I tried my hardest to buy like used or already opened Space Marine stuff on eBay. Like I was like bargain shopping as best as I could. I was trying to get deals. And with Space Marines, most of the generics, this is kind of hard to explain. So like, trying to think of a good way to explain this. So like Space Marines, there's like generic Space Marine kits that you can buy, and then there's like specific ones. Like I said, this guy only worked in my army. This guy is a Black Templar exclusive unit. But these generic Space Marines, I could have painted them in a different color, and these guys could have gone in any Space Marine army. So all of those generic guys, there's a lot of kits out there that like they would release a big box for like $200 where like half of it was Space Marines and half of it is some other army. Well, someone might have wanted to buy that other army but didn't want the Space Marines. So maybe they bought that set because buying all that stuff together was cheaper than buying it all individually. And so maybe they would buy that other army and then they would sell the Space Marine half. And granted, there's a ton of Space Marine stuff out there on eBay. Like that's probably the best way to get Space Marine stuff. But Space Marines are kind of boring in general, I think. Yeah, kind of special types. Like I have, like, for the Black Templars, like I said, these guys are the Assault Intercessors, and I have a couple of different ones, and there's like, you know, they come in different poses and stuff. But I have these guys are the Assault Intercessors. Well, the Black Templars have a special unit called the Crusader Squad. Actually, now that I think about it, I think I have them in the drawer next to me. Yeah, I do. Let me open this up here real quick. This squad is not really painted, so it might be kind of hard to show some of the details. But he's just spray painted black. But the Black Templars have the Crusader Squad, and this is a sword brother. They really like to go for that kind of medieval look. So his helmet's a little bit different. He's got these purity seals and capes, and he's got chains on his weapons to chain himself to his sword. And then I've got like this dude. He's got a power fist, so he can just smash stuff with his hand. He's got a sword strapped to his belt. Like, Black Templars really went for that kind of like medieval knight type look. And then they recruit guys to be like their squires. So these guys don't get as good of armor and stuff. And this is probably one of the only ones in this squad that I've actually painted. There's another one that's like partly painted. Where? Oh, I guess I only painted like his face. So I have like this guy that's mostly painted and this guy that I painted his face. And that's it. Well, okay, I guess I painted his arms too, but that doesn't really count. But yeah, so this messy box right here, this is one Crusader squad. And this box was 50 or 60 bucks to get these. I bought them in a set with a bunch of other stuff, so I got a discount. But the discount is still expensive. Like, it was like I bought the Army box set for $200. I got my local store gives a 10% discount. Actually, they give a 20% discount on purchases that big. No, it's 15%. Over $100 is 15%. So I got a 15% discount. It's not even my bedtime yet, Taltos. You shush. But I got a 15% discount on that, so I got it for like $170. I got like a leader. I got that Crusader squad. I got the rules book. I got another squad of guys. I got a bigger, like I got this, not this dreadnought. This dreadnought didn't come in the box. I got a different dreadnought that came in the box. I got like $250 worth of stuff. All right, Taltos, you have a good one. I'll be going to bed here pretty soon. But I got like $250 worth of stuff in that $170 box. Have a good night, man. Thanks for stopping by again. But yeah, so Warhammer is definitely not cheap. Because that box, like, even that $200 box that was specifically for my army, that is not enough stuff to actually have an army for Warhammer. Like, you need so much additional stuff to have a full army. Whereas with Star Wars Legion, if you buy the starter box, you have half of a Rebel army and half of an Empire army. Or if you buy the other starter box, you have half of a droid army or half of a clone army. Like, you're pretty good with the starter box. And then if you want to buy more stuff, like I bought, for example, I bought this whole kit of veterans here. These 7 models to add to my army was, I think, 30 bucks, which is, granted, that's still kind of high priced, but compared to the $50 or $60 you'd be spending on Warhammer, this is a much better deal to me, especially since I love Star Wars so much. And adding these guys to my army adds a significant bump to the amount of guys in my army. Like I said, because this right here is almost half an army. Adding these guys and that other squad that I set over there that I can't reach at the moment, and then maybe like 1 or 2 more things, I pretty much have a full army, and I'm looking at a much more reasonable price in the big scheme of things. But yeah, from a superficial view, it doesn't sound worth it when you can play games like Star Wars Legion. Exactly. Like, for me, Legion is a much more money-friendly game, because like I'm not buying all this at once. I'm like slowly building up over time. Like, I bought this core starter box with the Empire and everything. I bought that like over a year ago. It might have even been like a year and a half ago. And I've, like, because of COVID and stuff, I've just kind of been slowly working on it, painting stuff here and there. I bought the commandos that are back there in the very back. I bought them 6 months ago, probably. I bought these veterans right here, like, last week. But, like, even if you added all of that together, I still have spent less than what I did on just that one army box for Warhammer. And I've spent a lot more than that army box on Warhammer. Like, I've bought individual models, I've bought kits, I've bought stuff on eBay, and now I'm looking at it and I'm like, I kind of just want to sell some of my Warhammer stuff. Now, the nice thing about Warhammer is it does hold its value very well. You can usually sell your stuff for a pretty good amount of money. Now, stuff that's fully painted and stuff like this, unless someone really wanted my paint scheme though, probably won't sell super well. But stuff that's like just kind of maybe it's built, or for example, like I have one of the leaders right here that I've built and I've just primered in black. And granted, like the models are amazing. I love how some of these work, but they're just so expensive. But that model, I could probably get most, if not all, of the value back out of it. But at the same time, pieces like that one, those are ones that I want to paint up because they look so cool, and then I just want to put them up on my shelf. I don't really want to play Warhammer anymore. Now that I've learned Star Wars Legion, and for me, Legion is such a more easy game to learn, and it's more streamlined. It's more polished, but also Legion's a much newer game. Warhammer has been around in some form or another since like the early 80s, maybe even the late 70s. It's been around for a long time, and they're on like version 9 of Warhammer. Star Wars Legion's only been out for like 6 or 7 years, and the rules for it are just much more modernized, whereas Warhammer has kind of slowly improved their rules. Like they have improved, don't get me wrong, but it takes, yeah, it's easier to grasp. Yeah, it really is. So like for that example for Star Wars, when I was going to roll those dice, like I would have rolled 5 dice for these guys and then 6 dice for that guy. I either hit or I miss, basically. In Warhammer, I would need to roll, you would roll a bunch of d6s, so normal 6-sided die. Let's say I have 10 guys shooting. Well, maybe their guns all shoot 3 bullets, so I need to roll 30 dice to see if they hit. Well, they hit on 3s because they're Space Marines, so anything that's a 3 or better, I grab those. Now I need to see if those same dice that I just rolled to hit, I need to see if they actually do damage. I need to wound. So I roll however many out of those 30 that hit. Odds are 20 out of 30 would probably hit. So I'd grab those 20 dice that hit. I would roll all of them. I would compare the Space Marines' weapons strength to the guy I was shooting's at toughness. So my other guy would have to look at his rules and tell me what his toughness was. Then I compare my strength to his toughness. If it's the same, I gotta roll a 4 or better. If my strength is better than his toughness, I roll a 3 or better. If my strength is worse than his toughness, I roll a 5 or better. So if let's say they were the same. Let's say I had strength 4 and he had toughness 4. So now I need my 20 dice. I need to roll them all again, and I need to get 4s or better. Odds are it's a 50-50 chance. Odds are about 10 of those are going to hit. So now I have 10 hits. So now the opponent has to roll his dice to see if he can save against those wounds that I just rolled at him. So he needs to roll 10 dice and see if his save characteristic, maybe it's a 5+ or a 4+ or something, he needs to see if it's better than my wounds. If he rolls better than that, he saves, he dodges, whatever. But now, there's another thing you can add in there. Maybe the gun I just shot had armor penetration, which makes his saves worse. So now he's got to do more math to see if his saves get worse. That's all just to see if one unit in Warhammer shot at one other unit and successfully did any damage. That's it. All of those steps were just to see if one group of guys shot at another group of guys successfully. And then you have to do that for everyone in your army. And you could have dozens of units in your army. Yeah, you have to roll in every single step in Warhammer. It's crazy. Yeah, in Star Wars, you roll to see if you shoot. And again, like on the dice, you know, I would roll a few of these black dice. Well, depending on your unit. Sometimes it's black, sometimes it's the white ones, sometimes it's red dice. But they're all either going to be hits, crits, or misses, pretty much. Like well, I guess there's the surge too, but most units, a surge is just another miss. Then your other guy will roll his defense, and then he'll either get a block or a miss. or maybe a surge to block. But again, most guys surge to block is a miss. But yeah, but that's it. You either hit or they save or they block. That's it. There's no additional rolling in there. I roll once as the attacker, he rolls once as the defender. Done. Way simpler than Warhammer. Yeah, Warhammer, the rules are just so complicated because of how old it is, honestly, and how, because they would need to like completely rework the rules to improve that or change it to a different system, and I don't think they want to do that, and honestly I don't think most of the fans want them to do that because so many people are just kind of used to how that works. But when I was trying to play a game of Warhammer, we were trying to play a half-size game, and it took us like 4 hours because we were trying to learn the game. It took forever. Star Wars Legion, I played at a half-size game in an hour and a half. And it was my third game ever. And my first time really playing with like the full rules of the game. And we were even stopping to look up rules and stuff. Like, we did a lot. Like, honestly, that half-size game, we could probably cut down to an hour or less if we knew what we were doing. But with Warhammer, I don't know if you can play a Warhammer game in under an hour. Like, I don't know if that's even possible. Oh, and then, oh my goodness. So remember how I was describing in Legion? Like, I would use the movement stick. How I would take this and set it next to Luke and just pick him up and move him and I'm done. Or if I did that to the squad, I would move the sergeant and then the rest of the squad I just shove along with him. In Warhammer, if this guy and the rest of, let's say this is the rest of his squad over here, if they can move 6 inches, you have to get out a measuring tape and you have to measure him 6 inches. Okay? Then you have to take your same measuring tape and move this guy 6 inches, measure this guy 6 inches, measure this guy 6 inches. You can't just pile them all in. You have to measure every single dude. And the rules, like, let's say there was terrain over here and I couldn't, like, maybe I can't move everyone 6 inches. Well, what if someone gets too far back like this and he's you know, maybe I couldn't move him right or something. Maybe there was something stopping me. Maybe there's terrain here and he couldn't move over it. If he's too far out of the way, he just dies. Like, he's gone. And all because of the stupid movement rules. It just, some of the stuff in Warhammer just drives me crazy. It's so, oh hell no, now we can measure with inches instead of places. You missed me with that. See, and that's how Warhammer does it. Everything in the game uses inches. But the thing that drives me crazy is that I have to measure every single guy. If I have a 10-man squad, if I have a whole bunch of 10-man squads, or some of the cheaper armies, I say cheaper, they're not cheaper. They're not money-wise cheaper. Space Marines are elite units because each guy costs a lot of points. Like one of these Space Marine dudes is like 20 points in game. This whole squad of rebels is like 40 points or something like, I don't remember. Maybe 50 or 60 with all the upgrades. I don't know. But anyways, their points aren't really compatible. But Space Marines are like 20 points apiece. Imperial Guard are like 5 points apiece for like their standard humans. So you could have 4 Imperial Guard for every Space Marine. So in an Imperial Guard army, you might have squads of like 20 or 30 guys. You have to literally measure every single guy. You can't just move them around. But in Legion, they only care where your sergeant is. He's the only guy that really matters. So if I move him here, I can just grab everyone else. Okay, they're there. And as long as they're within like as long as you, like, I can't remember how far it is, but like they have to be within like a certain distance. I think they have to be within like one of these or something. I don't remember. I don't know the rules by heart. I just know that you can just pick up the squad and move them, and to me that is amazing compared to Warhammer. Warhammer stupid inches and measuring every single guy. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That drove me insane. Legion, way better. I don't know, people have fun with that. I can't even imagine someone rechecking his opponent actually moved exactly 6 or 7. Exactly, right? Like, it was so crazy. So yeah, that's why Star Wars Legion and other types of games like it are probably going to be the type of tabletop game I want to play. There's also a really cool one called Marvel Crisis Protocol. I've not played it. A bunch of my friends have gotten into it, but you play with Marvel characters. Like you could build the X-Men, and you take a group of like you basically buy 10 hero units and you go fight someone else who has 10 units, and you play against each other. And like you could build the X-Men, or you could build the Avengers, or you could build a villain team. I don't know all the rules, but the rules for that game actually play very similar to this game because they're actually from the same company. So a lot of the rules, like how you move and everything, is very, very similar. So for me, I think it would be really easy. Like if I learned this game, I could go try Marvel Crisis Protocol and be like, oh hey, I understand the rules for this. But after playing Warhammer, I don't want to play another game like Warhammer. I want to play stuff like this where I can just enjoy having fun and not have to be doing math all the time just to see if I hit my opponent or not. But yeah, that's the end of my rant. I actually need to get to bed, I think. An anime based on like this would be cool, not gonna lie, I'd be invested in that, right? I think something like this would be really cool. But yeah, I actually do hope, I want to be able to play stuff like this on the channel at some point. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I actually have a table set up over here out of, you can't see it right now, but I want to set up like cameras and stuff. I would love to like live stream it and actually play with like a buddy of mine or something, and like they call them like battle reports, but I would love to do something like that and play matches of this with my friends, and you know, go over the rules and go over the characters and build fun armies and stuff like that. You sound pretty knowledgeable on it, so you better kick ass in that rematch. Well, thank you. I play sometime this week. I haven't scheduled with my opponent yet. And I'll play with the same, like I said, the same army that I did last week. And then next week, I'll actually be able to add some stuff. So next week, I'll probably add these veterans to my army, because again, it's an Escalation League, so I start with the 500, but next week I can go all the way up to 650 points, I think it is. And then so weeks 3 and 4, I'll be at 650 points. And then on week 5 and 6, you bump all the way up to 800 points. And I need to get some new stuff, because I actually don't have enough for 800 points. Well, I do, but I don't want to. I have some other models, but I don't want to use them for this army. I don't think it'll be very good. Like, the theme isn't going to mesh well, but I also don't think that they'll synergize very well. But there's some like Mandalorians that I can get, which you might not know much about Mandalorians if you've only seen the original trilogy. It's basically, you probably remember Boba Fett. He was a guy in some kind of cool armor. But there's a whole race of Mandalorians that wear armor similar to Boba Fett, and you can run a squad of Mandalorians with the rebels, and they have really good defense and they've got pretty good weapons. Like they're pretty strong, but they cost a lot of points. And I think having a squad of them in my group would work really well. Like I think it would really help out my team. But yeah, they're strong, they're tough. They're just expensive. Like one squad of Mandalorians I think costs as much as like both of these squads combined, basically. But yeah, I think they could really help my army, so I'm gonna get a box of them. I think the box is like $25 for another squad. Like to me, it's much more reasonable to get another squad for $20 or $30 than it is $50 or $60. Like that's as much as I would love to be like, oh yeah, I'll buy a squad for $10. Like, as much as I would love to do that, like, I know that the plastic and the molds and everything costs them money. Like, but I don't want to spend a fortune, right? But I want to be able to support the game too. Like, I want to buy their models. But that's why, like, I need to do it in, like, I need to kind of trickle in and buy, like, bits and pieces at a time. So, like, once I have a full Rebel army built, I'll probably expand my Empire stuff and build them out over time. 50 or 60 for one figure as well. Yeah, it's a no-brainer. Exactly, right? Right? Oh, man. Now, I will say some of the leader characters for Star Wars Legion are not cheap. I think I have... Oh, yeah, I do. I have him over here. He's not painted yet, but I have Yoda. I did something, they call it a zenithal highlight. So this whole side of him is... Oops, sorry. This whole side of his robes and stuff is black because it's in shadow. Because I was trying to make it look like his lightsaber was lit up. And so I was going to try to paint like a green glow on the side of him or something. I haven't got to it yet. Yoda was $20. Actually, I think he was 18. But he came with 2 different models. Oh, where's the other one? Crap. Do I have him over here? I thought I had him over here. Maybe I don't. But anyways, he came with another model. The other model, he's like leaping off of a log, and he's like getting ready to swing his lightsaber. Like, he looks really cool. But it came with 2 full models in there, and you can run either one as your character in the game. Leader characters, do they have leader skills, and you have to base your team around that skill? Is that why they don't mesh well? Kind of, yes. So like Luke, in this army, Luke is my leader right now, and he has a bunch of force abilities. He has jump, he has charge, but he also gets commander cards that he can play during the game, and so he gets some special abilities from those commander cards that he can play, and those don't always work with certain units very well, if that makes sense. Like, for example, I have like a squad of Wookiees, and I have Chewbacca. My wife bought me Chewbacca as a character a while back. But Chewbacca's abilities work really good in-game if you have Han Solo. But I don't have Han Solo, I have Luke. And Chewbacca and Luke don't really do anything for each other. But if you had Han and Chewie, they both give each other bonuses, so they mesh really well, they work really well, they synergize. But Luke and Chewbacca don't. So I don't really want, even though I have Wookiees and I have Chewbacca, I don't really want to include them in this army because I don't think their skills are really gonna help me in the long run. So I'd rather add a different unit. I'd rather buy something else and add them because I think it would help my group. Right, basically, like Luke, even if I buy Mandalorians, Luke's cards might not, I don't think it's going to do anything special for the Mandalorians. But the Mandalorians are strong and they're pretty good on their own. So I think that they will still help the army. Plus, I think they'll be fun to paint. So I want to get some. No matter what, I'm planning on getting them because I want to paint them. But I also think they'll work well in the army. They may not be like optimized because they won't have anything special that works with Luke. There's a different leader. There's a Mandalorian leader you can get called Sabine Wren. She's not in any of the movies, but she was in one of the animated series, and I haven't seen it. I don't really know much about her. But you could buy her and run her as a rebel leader instead of Luke. And she works really well with other Mandalorians. I may buy her eventually, but in this Escalation League, since I already started with Luke and these rebel troopers, I can't take them out of my army. I have to keep building on them. And so I can only buy things to add to this. I can't swap stuff out. So that's one of the like tricky parts of the rules for this Escalation League. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like you said, I have multiple reasons. I think it's worth it. They're really cool looking models. I'll be able to use them. Like, even though if I build this list now, I mean, I can always build a different rebel list in the future using the same models. Like, I don't have, like, once I build this list, I'm not like stuck with those units. I can always be like, oh, I want to try something different in a different match in the future. But in this Escalation League, I'm kind of locked in. But they might do it. This is the first Escalation League my local shop has done for Star Wars Legion. So if this one goes well, they might do another one in the future. And so I could just try a completely different list for the next time. We'll see. I don't know. But yeah. Oh, and they also, if you score well enough, they give out prizes for the Escalation League. Like they'll give out models or gift cards or something. I actually don't know what the prize is going to be, but if I score well enough, I could get a prize. So I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah. Like get Mandalorians, and you get something else, and you can branch out to another team. Exactly. Like, even if I don't use the Mandalorians in this team in the future, I might use them I might build another team that works really well with Mandalorians. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. But yeah, I should probably call it here. It is almost 1 a.m. for me. Makes it worth it to attend and play for hours. Exactly, yeah. And I mean, I'm playing 1 game a week over the course of 6 weeks, so I'm playing 6 games. So we'll say 2 hours per game, roughly. Maybe a little bit more, but we're looking at 12 to 15 hours of time spent. And it costs $10 to get into the league, so everyone pitched in $10, which goes towards prize money and stuff, or to buy the prizes basically. But yeah, if I do well, I could get a prize. We'll see. I'll keep you guys updated how I'm doing, and I'll post on like the Discord and stuff. Also, yeah, if you're not in the Discord, I do have a Discord. I'll go ahead and let me post a link to it real quick. There we go. Wait, where's my chat button? Why can't I chat? Okay, I'll chat over here. Fine. But yeah, there's a link to my Discord. And if you want, you're welcome to join. But basically, I chat with a bunch of people in there. A lot of my different viewers and followers from different platforms are in there. I post about a lot of the stuff that I'm doing and things that I try to keep that updated for like when I'm going live and stuff too. That's probably the easiest way to keep track of what I'm doing. If you're interested in that at all, and if you use Discord. If you don't use Discord, don't worry about it. But there it is in case you want to join. But yeah, that's all for tonight. I need to get to bed because I got work in 7 hours. So thanks for hanging out though. Sabo, I can't remember how you said to pronounce it, but thanks for hanging out. Thanks for chatting with us. Hopefully you enjoy more of the Star Wars movies and stuff. But yeah, have a good night, man, and hopefully I'll see you next time.